Speaking of Wisconsin, dear Tony Evers, dude, so you don't like gas. We've already been taxed. Taxes are going up for 2% in the city. Tax went up another point whatever. So now we pay, instead of 5.5, we pay 7.9. So all these things are going up. Last week I mentioned it and talked about it. But now we're running on the other side of people complaining that we need to stop using gas and use electric cars. And so I thought the state of Wisconsin would at least give us some incentives to own an electric car, right? Hey, y'all doing a great thing. You're saving the environment. You're not burning gas and oil and all that stuff, right? Electric vehicle owners will soon have to pay a new tax when you charge your car. That's from the Wisconsin Department of Revenue. So as more Wisconsin drivers opt for electric vehicles, a tax aims to create a more equitable system where all drivers contribute to road. Well, wait a minute. We're supposed to save money by getting an electric car. So because you can't get the money for us using gas, which is a fossil fuel that you said you didn't want us to use, you're now going to tax us and use equity as an idiotic reason why we need to pay tax on electricity that we're already paying tax on electricity. Makes no sense. What makes it equitable to fix the road? That's stupid. The excise tax represents a crucial source of revenue for maintaining Wisconsin's roadway and infrastructure. It makes no sense. 3 cents per kilowatt hour. So if I get 10 kilowatt hours, I'm paid $3 or 30 cents. We say it's not a lot, but electric cars, they got to get charged. It applies to level 3 chargers or level 1 and 2 chargers that are installed on or after March 22nd, 2024. It goes into effect January 1st, 2025, and when the tax kicks in, any person who owns or operates an electric vehicle charging station has to register with the state before resuming charging services. Now, they say it skips people who charge cars in their home. But what you're saying is you don't want me to travel. Because if I travel, I got to pay the tax. And if I'm not at home and I need to charge my car, I got to pay the tax. Station owners have to register. It doesn't make any sense. Milwaukee electric scooter ridership is up 40%. It brought in $436,000 for the city. So then at what point you are hitting me and you are taxing every single thing I do? Now, homeowners get it. The fact that you buy a house and you sell a house and you don't have to pay tax on it, that's what's up. If you don't have to pay tax on a sale of a house, they're trying to get at that too. They're now saying, hey, you got to pay the person selling your house and you got to pay the person buying your house, the agent on both ends. That's ridiculous. Now everybody got to get paid. Usually it's just the person making the sale that gets the interest. So they've switched, and I'm not a real estate person, so I might be getting it wrong. But I say all that to say we're taxing everything to the point where what does it make sense to have a income tax? Our income tax should then be lowered to about 3% like Arizona. Arizona's income tax is 3%. Now, if you want to register your car, depending on the type of car you have and the size of the car you have and the age of your car, you might pay up toward $300-$400, which I'm okay. I want to drive. You got to drive out there in Arizona. You got the city. You got southern Phoenix. You got West Valley, East Valley. Okay, I get it. Takes about a half hour, 40 minutes to get everywhere you got to go. I got it. willing to pay it because I got 3%. And I get to choose what I do and what tax I pay. Here, there's no choice. If you got gas, you pay tax. If you have electric, you pay tax. If you have electricity, it's going up. And with electricity going up another 12% over the next 2 years with We Energies, what are we going to do? 2% tax for the city, 0.79 for the county. State tax is what, 5, 6, whatever it is. So essentially, depending on what you buy, you're going to pay upwards of, I don't know, too much. And these are the people we vote into office. These are the people who do it. Now, not being Democrat and not being Republican, these are the types of things that Democrats do. They want to tax you to death because they want to take your money and use it for what they want to use it for, not what you want to use it for. Why are we taxing electric cars when we have a $4 billion excess in tax money and he wants to use it for education? How idiotic is that? That makes absolutely no sense. When you're sitting with money there, $4 billion, and then you want to turn around and make more? For what? Use part of the $4 billion for the roads. If you're going to tax people, give the money back to us. Whenever the state has excess, give it back. Take 50% of it, put half of it in a rainy day fund, and put the other $2 billion and give it back to us. But no, we're not going to do that. You pay money, we're going to keep your money, and we're going to keep figuring out ways to take your money. We tried to get it passed, but your governor doesn't want it passed. That if you have a pension, you don't pay tax on it. But the money that you're not taxing on a pension is going to go buy more expensive stuff, and you're going to get even more tax on it. But we don't want to do that. And so we pay through the nose. We pay through the nose. So if state sales tax is 5.5 or 5%, and we tack on another 2.79, that's 7.79, almost 8% we're paying on everything we buy. Well, it's not everything. Some food we don't have. Some food, yeah, the food that's bad for me and that's junk that I shouldn't be taxing, better yet, shouldn't be eating anyway. And so now how do you get away? How do you get ahead with inflation and with all this stuff? People taxing you to death. But yet Governor Evers thinks it's okay. Tax starts January 1st. So now people who can afford an electric car are going to pay even more. Then what? Are you trying to force people back to gas cars? And so at some point, it comes time that you're going to need to put somebody in as governor that cares about the people of Wisconsin. The Milwaukee School Board doesn't care. City government doesn't seem to care. Instead of coming up with ways to fix the budget and the economy, they just tax you. And so with all the social programs that are needed and wanted, you have to be fiscally responsible. You can't just tax people who have and then transfer it to people who don't. It makes absolutely no sense. But yet we have a governor who's decided that the way to give more away is to tax those that have. And so now what do? Referenda all over the state for schools are passing. 15 and 20 and 75 and 100 and $115 million referendums. MPS is talking about all the things they need to do, but Since when has a school building dictated how well you learn? It doesn't. And so now we're going to enter 2025 with a 2 or 3% a year inflation increase on top of the almost 8% tax, on top of the federal tax, on top of, and where does it end? But we voted these knuckleheads in. So now it's time to pay the piper. And for folks that voted for Governor Evers, I'm sorry. Can you spell D-U-M-B?
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 1017 The Truth.